one clean eye hole as he sort of glances up towards you. He appears to have been picking some herbs from the side of the road. He does little to greet you, but neither does he run away or flee as your horse continues its slow approach towards him.
You said he does flee or he doesn't?
He does not.
Gotcha. Okay. As I approach, I will kind of slow my horse, keeping my distance a bit, and I'll call out, "Ho there!"
A traveller. He greets you back. And where are you bound, young man?
LEVD.
Well, my destination is written in the dirt.
Close.
He chuckles and looks towards the dirt. Tracking, I see.
Yes. Have you seen the owner of these rather gargantuan feet?
He gestures behind him, and it's an area of clear land just to the side of the road, a little bit before the tree line begins. And he says, indeed, I had found these tracks. I can't do the old man accent. But he says, indeed, he has. I've seen some tracks in the dirt myself this morning that caught some interest. And he gestures towards some torn up, likely the heavy hooves of war horses or war horses that have come off road in the grass next to the dirt track. And he gestures to these and indicates that he himself has seen them, and he says that they tell something of a story. And he invites you to sort of come, slightly off road if you like, just to see them.
Roland will dismount and walk his horse, holding the reins, towards the old man and say, "Well, I'm always in the mood for hearing a story from an elder."
He gestures there's to a large, probably the largest visible track, which is a large indentation in the ground next to a tree by the edge of the wood line. And he says, well, clearly something slept here. A horse or a man as large as a horse or larger. And then he gestures to other tracks of animals, likely horses, given you're quite familiar with the indentation left by horseshoes in soft soil. And so the one who slept was accosted by men who rode. Has someone got something going on in the background there?
Yeah, it's a little loud.
Yeah, sorry. It's very easy for me to lose my train of thought, that's all. Yep, so basically...
Well, one thing you can do, Wim, is you can put people on local mute if you need to.
Might do.
Just gotta remember to take them off when you're ready for them.
Yeah, otherwise it's a super harsh move as a GM. So he says, yes. So essentially, that one slept here. That horses arrived probably afterwards. That it was awoken, and he gestures to a number of broken branches and other small sign that perhaps less a battle than a short confrontation of sorts between at least three took place here. And then looking away from the signs, he says, the trail sign at least, he says that three men fought here. A man of magic, a man of cloth, and a man who was not a man. And his voice takes on a somewhat mystical quality as he says this.
Roland looks around and says, "I don't see any blood nor bodies. Were the three combatants unharmed?"
It was a short thing. One who did not think he would be caught being caught, and then fleeing again. And he raises one thick, long, thin, bony arm, continuing down the road, and says that the flight and chase continued towards the Stone Abbey, or at least in that direction. Once wakened from it, from his sleep, the large man fled. Or seems, at least that's what it seems now after the telling of after the event itself.
I assume the man who is not a man is the larger of the three.
The old man shrugs, and it's a hard gesture to read through his sort of motley clothing, and says, I've met none of these men. I know little of them.
Well, one of them, at least, is a dastardly arsonist, and I will catch the bastard. We've done quite a lot of property damage to Lord Charleston's new bridge. I will continue on. If any travelers follow behind me, please inform them of my passing. I am Sir Roland, and I am squire to. I am Roland Baratheon, and I am squire to. Crap, what's his name?
Jason Bracken.
Jason Bracken. That's right.
Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks. I'll give you that as a free DC memory check. He nods and says, property damage, is that your motivation for continuing down this road? I will do as you ask if I see any more travelers, though I'm not like to wait by the road all day for such a thing. Tell me, do you intend to take the road to the Abbey?
If that is where my quarry heads, then it is where I head.
He nods, perhaps thoughtfully for a moment, and says to you, "There is trouble of late between the Lord Mallister and some of the folk on his land. Perhaps, your liege, Sir Bracken, he is, despite being a renowned knight of the Andals, he also has a good reputation as a peacemaker in his time, and he recounts some offhand story about once how he'd heard how Sir Jason Bracken had made a peace between two warring knights. The Lord of the Riverlands is filled with such stories of Sir Jason Bracken. And he says perhaps he could make a peace between Lord Mallister and his own folk, as they seem on the urge of blood being spilt.
Do you think that these three are involved in this conflict between Lord Mallister and the people of these lands?
Oh, I cannot say if they've involved themselves in it, but as long as Lord Mallister the Lords of Mallister have owned land, they've had friction with the first men who were here before. So certainly this conflict precedes the coming of the three you pursue.
Is there some connection between Mallister and Charleston? Or some animosity, perhaps?
Not as such. The Lord of Mallister is an arrow pointed at a target. He has thoughts only for his old lands of Seaguard. And and has as few as 20 swords to his name, and causes little trouble with for House Charleston. Although perhaps in the lands that separate the two lords, bandits are common, as neither has the strength to oust them. So perhaps there is some tension between them. I know little of lords and their affairs, the old man says. But certainly there are no bones in the marshes from soldiers who have died in conflict between Charleston and Mallister. There is no great rivalry as one would find between Bracken and Blackwood.
Well, I must be going. And he begins to mount up, and when he does, he says, farewell. May the crone illuminate your path.
The man nods, and may the gods guide you on yours, young Baratheon. He nods, and as you slowly ride away, perhaps you think to ask him another question, but by the time you turn around, he is gone. And yes. Now you can ride on for some time following the tracks, which are clear enough for you as the sun rises in the sky, but your going is slightly slower than those behind you, who are moving at a faster and perhaps less careful pace. And we'll move back to Sir Jason and his growing entourage, which now includes Christopher, Riker, and Jack. Two who have all lost, at least temporarily, for two of you, their sponsor. So on the road, having just cleared the Greybell Bridge, Sir Jason tips back his helm, looks around and says, well, we're two friends, even though only one road really stands in front of you. So this is with everyone but Roland.
So as we're traveling, I look over and I say, how is everyone doing today?
The usual. Good. Just keep reading.
Yep. I say, all right. I say, I guess we should start heading over to the next city. And I ask Sir Jason, what does he need of me?
A good question, Riker. Well, for now, I require little. Although, should we catch up with these the dastardly murderers or murderer, I may require that blade you wear at your hip. Though, in truth, if you are not keen to see it used, then you can stay behind the true fighting men, he says, laughing.
I say, trust me. I say, this axe, has seen its battles.
Indeed. And more glorious wants to come, no doubt. He laughs again.
Hey, Wim?
Yep.
Sorry to interrupt, but how are we going to be dealing with player characters that don't have players present?
I will... am planning on allotting them different roles during any combats that arise, rather than at this stage giving multiple characters to players during combats. At least for today, I'd rather.
Wait, who are we missing?
So we are missing Michael, the Squire Michael, and we will soon be missing Mace's apprentice Jack Randall. We'll be
actually, I can stay the whole time. Plans got changed, so.
Alright, well, I guess it'll... Alright, well, look, normally I don't like plans changing, but if it results in an extra player, then I'm not really one to complain. For future reference, it's always really helpful for me to know if people are going to be here or not, just because it does help me adapt sessions. And if we are missing 3 or more of our players, I am likely to postpone the session, just because it'll change the nature of that session. And once I know well in advance, I can plan a session for 2 if those players are keen. So that's just a bit of a public service announcement. Now, yep, all good. So we're going to have everyone, the four of you here for the session, which is good. I will, in fact, drag out an extra token for a event we are coming up to. So as Sir Jason rides, he carries his reins loosely in his hand. He seems somewhat absent-minded, but anyone, and behind him ride the two young maids recently in the service of Vanessa Vance, being Dina, Aaron, and Shalyn Templeton. These two, well, Dina at least is currently in a conversation with Michael, and will remain so for most of this session unless anyone else intervenes, which, look, this is how I'm solving that problem. And beside them both, beside the young Lady Templeton rides a large-looking warhound, which, yeah, that's about it. You're all riding in pursuit of a similar road to Roland Baratheon, in pursuit of the tracks. If anyone would like to ask any of our characters any questions, or take any action, you certainly can, before we move on.
Okay, Jack's gonna go over to Christopher and check up on him, see how he's... So, Christopher, how's the face doing?
That's you, Brett.
Ah, I forgot.
Screenshot.
Sorry.
Oh, you forgot the accident.
Yeah, I do that sometimes. Well,
You're
I have my mic sensitivity, right, yo.
Just check it's healed, okay?
I'm fine.
Yeah, he's bounced back. He's showing little sign of injury, at least visibly.
In my dreams, I saw a killer. Man, a giant. Am I quiet?
You're breaking up slightly on the end of some words, so if you're using push to talk, maybe just hold it down a moment so we hear everything you say.
Nah, I just had sensitivity really high.
Okay.
I saw a man in my dreams. Man of giant stature.
A giant, you say?
Well, it was just a dream.
Well, dreams are mind's ways of telling us stuff.
Yes, I saw it through Arthur here. And he points to the eagle flying in the sky. He's my eyes. Well, technically, not my eyes, I can see. Not like blind men use buds like that. But my eyes in the sky.
He's almost your third eye. I'll just. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just looking for one more sheet. All right. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your conversation.
Can you talk to him?
The old gods taught me many things. I met a child once. Not the child you are thinking of. Children of the forest. But or was it a woman? I can't remember. A long time ago. But she taught me how to see through my dreams, but not master it.
All right, Jack. Once again, Trish through his talking shit. What do you have to say?
I just sort of ignore him and just sort of finish the conversation.
Very well.
Slowly back away.
Right, Christopher. Very well. You continue traveling on for some time. Roland, behind you, perhaps completely unrelated to this, you hear the steady clip-clop of horses, a number of them moving at a faster pace than your own. How do you respond?
Well, clearly I set up an ambush and kill every single one of them without verifying identity.
Yeah. You just ready like 9 sequential actions to fight a combat and can't take that back. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
The
I
clear
pull out
play,
like
of course.
19 heavy crossbows and load them all and tie them to a string to fire at once.
Yeah, okay. The party is killed. I guess now it's time to talk about the next sequence of the plot of the campaign that takes place in Andal Heaven, or in Christopher's case, Andal Hell. In fact, as the majority of the party rounds a bend, Sir Jason lets out a roar of delight as he sees his elder squire on the road ahead, and he shouts out, "Greedy Guts, is that you?"
Roland turns his mount around and says, "So Jason, it is I."
And have you trapped the foul murderer? He says. Have you delivered justice to him yet?
Alas, the going has been slow, but I'm still on his trail. The 3 of them.
3 of them. Yes, indeed.
One of them is a giant.
A giant, you say, Christopher. Such things are grown legendary in these long years after the conquest of these lands from House Mud. I would be surprised indeed, Sir Jason says, but laughs. But again, I would be glad to test my steel. What say the rest of you?
So Jason, I'm afraid he is correct.
Indeed, then we must ready our weapons. Perhaps if any of you among you carry a large weapon, an axe or a spear or the like, it may be useful. He thought.
Christopher hold on, and he basically unties his war lance from the side of his horse. Now I'm good.
Jack sort of like sees his dagger and just like sort of tries to hide it. Just seems sort of embarrassed about it.
My character wields an axe, so.
I've got the dagger, so I'm sort of like just trying to hide it. Like, no, I don't have a weapon. No.
Yeah.
Wait, Christopher, quick question: Is your character the coward one that has the cowardice trait?
Nah, I discussed that with the DM. He doesn't have that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's removed Craven because I think he prefers to play. Christopher's got that youthful adventurous spirit, which we all enjoy so much. And so Craven probably doesn't fit that at this point. Although if we break his spirit in the future, by all means, he might take it back. So maybe that's a personal challenge for some of you.
Secondary objective acquired.
Gain a destiny point for inflicting Craven on Tristan. No. No, and all right. Well, as your horse joins the small procession,
I do have some questions for the group.
by all means. So Jason says, yeah.
I guess I asked Sir Jason where the Maester, Lady Vance, and the bodyguard are.
Lady Vance is dead.
Indeed, says Sir Jason. He shakes his head thoughtfully. The lady was murdered in her own chamber. Well, that is to say, the Maester, the chamber of Maester Farn. He furrows his brow for a moment. And her guard and the Maester have disappeared. I believe it's he seems almost lost in thought. I think it was someone had the thought that had the notion that it was they who pursued. They were in pursuit. He glances to the rest of you and says, "Who was it who thought this?" this giant that they pursued.
Um,
In some matters, Sir Jason is happy to take the lead, but in this he casts it over to the rest of you to explain matters.
Roland nods and says that lines up with the tracks that I saw. There was a fight between a large misshapen being and two men on horseback that I assume is the maester and bodyguard. So this arson was to cover a murder?
Not necessarily. It could be the murder was just an add-on to the arson.
Perhaps they were looking for something else and she got in the way.
Lady Vance did not discuss her business matters around me much.
Sir Jason nods and says, "Indeed, the Charltons seem to think it was perhaps House Frey, and have offered us silver to prove that such is the case."
If it turns out to be House Frey, I shall take Lady Charleston's armies and burn the twins to the ground.
Well, sir, if we suspect the Freys, I'm afraid we're going the wrong way.
We need to gather evidence.
Indeed, we will have the proof of this, says Sir Jason. Confront the assassins directly.
Well, one of the assassins appears to be a giant.
Yes, well, I have slain bogmen and demons before, says Sir Jason, with such bold companions by my side. I'm sure we shall do so again, whatever may come. Though in truth, I do not suspect such a creature still lives in the south. He laughs.
Won't be that hard of a chance to find a giant. There's not many hiding spots, you know.
Jason laughs at what he presumes to be a jest, and says, "Indeed, come." And he moves to ride on, unless anyone has any last questions.
Nope, I'm good. My character's kind of traveling, continuing writing his book whenever we stop.
Yep, still got his book and notes out. Fair enough.
Roland asks Sir Jason, "Sir, have you been drinking this morning?"
Jason furrows his brow at such a thing being mentioned, but says, "Of course not," and then immediately sort of sways in his saddle and says, "I have not imbibed since news of Lady Vance's death. Would be most unseemly." And then he sort of sways again, but grabs his grabs the reins with both hands and manages to right himself. I'm sure I've hit that sweet spot between having all the courage of the land and still some basic hand-eye coordination, and so everything will be fine.
We'll let him drive again.
But yeah.
As he falls back behind Sir Jason, Roland kind of gives the rest of the group a worried look.
Come to victory, Sir Jason says, and continues riding. He doesn't even really, he's not really looking or following track at this point. He's following the road. But if anyone cares to ensure the rest of the party is on track, following the tracks, they may make some kind of survival track roll just to keep track of the sign as you guys travel. If not, you can just follow the road.
$17.
I mean, look, it's on 3 dice as well. I think your survival checks have been pretty solid. So, although the tracks become slightly more beaten up by the tracks of Sir Jason's courser, it seems reasonably clear to you by the irregular giant man prints that you are staying on track.
So
As
we're
you
going
rode.
roughly the same direction.
Yeah, it seems like at least the yes, your target has travelled in this
Be right
direction.
back.
Yep, well, good. And so, as a group, you make your way, and in the distance, you hear the one last thing. So, as you fall in behind Sir, as you fall in behind Sir Jason, Sharon Templeton gives you a warm smile and says, "It's good to see that you've returned to us safely, Roland." And Dina, Aaron, her smile less warm, says, yeah, "Indeed, it's good. It is good to have a man of another man of good breeding in our escort. Offers some reassurance."
Who is this directed at?
That's at you, Roland.
I know it
missed
is.
that
It is good to
first
be.
part, man.
Good to be near the king of the rivers and hills.
Sorry, I will respond to that in just a moment, Brett. But do you have something as well, Ben?
I missed that first part. I heard the second lady.
And that was
first
Dana.
part
Yep.
was the one I missed.
The first one was Shalyn Templeton, and she greets you with a warm smile. I'm glad to see that you're all right, Roland. And beside her, her small or her large hound gives a bark of presumably mirroring the warm gesture at your return.
All right. Yeah, Roland will just nod his head and say, "Milady."
Tilting
fedora.
his fedora, yeah. No, very well. And then Dana's remark was more about, it's good to have a man of proper breeding in the entourage, at which point, Brett, was your big noting of Christopher in or out of character?
In character.
In character, good. Always good. All right. Well, as you ride on, you hear the tinkling of a nearby stream or river, and the area. I believe it's. I'll just see if I can call this. I think I've already made it. Yep. Of Hagsmire. It's a sprawling marshland broken up by bits of farmland, but there are 7 streams running through Hagsmire, and you appear to have approached the first by the sound of the river. So there are a number of locations just on the locations tag. Some of them are original, some of them aren't. So I'll just keep them there as we go, so you guys can to make things a bit easier to follow. But as you round a corner in the road through the woods, you see a far smaller than the Greybill Bridge, which spans 200 feet of the Green Fork, a smaller bridge, far older, of Andor construction. Bridge is a small, perhaps 15 yards, that is to say, of a small stream. On the other side of this bridge sits a lone rider atop a rather sway-back looking courser. He wears the mail of a knight. His hair, what little remains of it, is grey, and he's balding. And the knight shouts out to your party, "Halt! And state your business."
Roland will ride up and grab the Sir Jason's reins a bit to make sure he stops.
Sir Jason both stops and manages to maintain his seat despite the interference, and says, "What's this?" He says, "More to you, Roland, than to in reply."
Here's a summary from WikiHow. Make your choice based on your...
He says you're looking for direction.
Roland just says, "My mistake, sir," and takes his hands off the reins.
And so Jason nods and says, "Oh no, I mean," he gestures to this knight.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that.
All good.
We gotta save the old man's pride.
Of course. Speaking of an old man's pride, so Riker, the party has arrived at a small bridge, rather than the 200 sort of yards of the Green Fork, which you guys crossed earlier in the day. This one is perhaps only 10 yards of river spanned by a small bridge. It's the first of several streams and rivers that are in the mine. On the other side of it, a lone rider dressed in knightly mail has accosted the party and asked them what their business is, and said at the moment there's sort of been a moment's pause. While
Is he like waylaying us, or is he like just asking?
It's unclear. He seems to have, he's certainly positioned himself in the middle. One could not simply ride around him. He had his horse sits on the other side of the bridge.
I'm gonna ready my weapon.
Fair, it must be moderately friendly, or at least willing to be friendly, if he has no helmet on. Because we can see that he's balding.
Can I spot anyone else around, or like anyone in the forest around us, or anything?
I will permit some kind of awareness check with notice applying, if you like.
Sure. Awareness. Damn it.
All right. 13.
GM, can I get a character sheet for my pet eagle?
Under my eye, just
Rika, there's certainly movement in the woods, but there's been movement all afternoon. Small creatures and the like moving through them, perhaps. So all you're aware of is the fact that the woodland isn't still. Jack, you're in a woodland, and there are trees nearby. That's what you're aware of.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask him very bluntly. Are you waylaying us?
One second, I'm just gonna message. Well, young man, these roads require constant repair, and I have the great honor to be Sir Roman, in the service of. He sniffs a little house master who's responsible for the upkeep of these roads, and it is my solemn duty to impose a tax on your travel here. These roads and bridges do not simply look after themselves, and the loyal men of Housemaster must have bread and ale.
Cool.
So has no power in this area.
Yeah, I'm going to pass hard on that. I'm not going to give you a dime, but I will let you leave with your head. I don't like bandits, so you can go ahead and hold that. If you'll excuse me, I have places to go, letters to deliver.
All right. Anyone else?
Roland turns towards Rita with a "What the fuck are you doing?" look on his face.
So, Rika is convinced that this man is a bandit.
Okay.
Housemaster does not hold any jurisdiction anymore.
So, Robin.
Roland turns to the other character.
He's like, "You guys are acting up today."
The knight is affronted at this and says, although as you glance him over a bit, you see that his goods are slightly the worse for wear. His mail is in good condition, though it does not carry the shining quality one associates with a well-kept knight. And his sword, undrawn at his side, doesn't seem a particularly well-made thing. I'll just very quickly, Brett, can you see the sheet? I've given you access to a sheet. I just want to see it.
Where did you put it?
I'll just make sure. Where are we? How about now? I realized I gave you control, but I hadn't given you visibility, which is a bit silly. It's not in a folder. It should just be. It's called Eagle.
Let me just refresh the page.
All right. Well, look. So Robin says, and she's look. I shall offer you one more chance, gentlemen. The men of House Malice still require, food and shelter for the upcoming winter. And it is my job to see it done. So
I say now it's the men that need the taxes, not House Malice, but the men of House. I get it. I see. Can you get out of the road? We got shit to do.
Yeah. He draws his sword from his.
I draw my axe. I say, what are you trying to do? You want to fight?
I wouldn't do that if I were you. I will run you through and I draw my ready my war spear. War lance.
I mean, look. So Jason glances around you and sees you all convinced that these men aren't bandits, and is similarly convinced more by you than by them. So draws his own weapon, and now and says, but he says to you, he glances to Michael, his squire, and says, Michael, bring the ladies to a safe distance, and use your bow to guard them carefully from what is to come. And indeed, Michael does so.
I also inform you guys that he has men in the woods. I say, look out in the woods.
I go with Michael, by the way.
Pardon?
I go with Michael to a safe distance.
Okay, I'll just remove you from this combat encounter.
I'll just I'll protect the ladies. Don't worry. I'm just trying to shut. I'm in front of them. No, I'm like running ahead of them.
Not all men, no fighters.
Jason says to the rest of you, if any of you do not trust your mounts in battle, now is the time to see them to a safe distance as well. As he draws his own sword.
So, what's for combat riding on a mount? That's.
Now, I think one
if you
difference.
Don't have animal handling 3 or more, you should get the fuck off your horse.
So I have animal handling 3 and I have riding 1. So like, would it be preferable for me to be using my mount over?
Depending on what kind of horse you're riding.
I'm riding a sandsteed.
You have to
raise it a
roll
sandsteed.
Huh?
Hold on, I'm double checking. What's the horse that I have?
Some
If it's a
obscure
sandsteed,
dawn.
3 is not good enough because it has a high will.
No, it's not a sandsteed. I have a. Where the fuck is my horse?
You have no horse. All right, solved.
No, I do because I have saddlebags and I have horse feed. I just don't see.
Now, my reading of the rules, I think, is slightly different from yours, Ben. Which is at first when we can put relevant page. I think the initial roll to control your mount, if you've ridden it before, and if it isn't.
Oh, I have a stout. If
it isn't disposed to dislike you, the DC for that is actually just 0. Whereas the DC is higher if it's a new mount. But if the mount takes damage during a fight, then there's the difficulty of the check is equal to the passive will of the mount. I think that's what it reads as to me.
Okay.
So to be sure, on a stout horse, would it be preferable to me like riding on a stout horse, or should I fight on foot? Is what I'm trying to figure out.
My recommendation is that if you like the risk of, so if you're fighting on a mount, you have fewer actions because you need to spend some to control it, or you will get some bonuses.
All right, then yeah, I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna fight on foot.
Yep, that's a fair point. Like I think really, fighting on a mount is usually reserved for those who specialize in it, so squires and knights. And in fact, I'll see if I've got.
The reason why I had to determine how I was going to fight because it's going to be determined on how I'm going to be fighting for the rest of the game. So like,
Yeah, well, look, one thing is
trying
if
to
you
figure out,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can go on foot now and see how it goes for others. So we've got at least one on foot. I'm going to delete Jack Randall, who's just.
Oh, this guy really is a sir. He really is a knight.
How far away am I?
Oops.
Am I like so far I can't see anybody, or am I?
Well, I should clarify. Yeah. So essentially, Michael is about staying a good 20 yards back, guarding the ladies. He's not going to be a part of this fight, and I've done that because his player's not here.
Okay.
Oh,
So if you could choose to be a part of the combat but play a bit defensively, or you could choose to stay out of the combat. Chewie, which would you prefer?
Chewie, you should stay in between me and my enemies and just use dodge.
I'm dying the first hit. Okay.
I mean, look, we'll see how it
There
goes.
is
I'm going to put you in
actually
the.
combat rules for just taunting people.
Look, there are intrigue rules for inciting and taunting, and there are combat rules for other things. So I'm presuming Jack and Riker are both going to stay on foot. Roland, what are you feeling?
So I'm good. I'm on horseback. I have my halberd.
Can you use a halberd on horseback?
You should.
You can. It is not unwieldy.
That is amazing and broken, and I love it.
It's also, historically not unforeseen.
Yeah, it's actually pretty. People would use halberds on horseback.
All right. I'm just going to adjust some deployment. Actually, while I'm here, I'll show you guys where we're at now. This is difficult. Hang on, I got to move this across.
So we might
do not have special
die.
dice in halberds, so this should be super fun.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be horrific. All right. It's been nice knowing you. I'll make now. Basically, the only rule I'm imposing on deployment here is that you're going to have at least one square touching that dirt track. So let's see how this goes. It's going to be nice and tight.
Is Christopher a giant?
No, he's on horseback, I presume.
Yeah,
I
he's
don't
on
have
horseback.
All right.
Wait, my eagle doesn't get a tiny little square. Now I'm sad.
I mean, look, that's the point. Let's see if we can. I haven't got a tile for him. Maybe I can just draw him out and have him like on your tile for now. He's been sitting on. Oh, you got him. Why not? I mean, you wanted him on your saddlebag, so you can throw him on your tile.
God damn, some of these guys are huge.
Yeah. So if you're on a horse, you've got a larger tile.
Oh, okay.
And you guys can feel free to roll initiative. Oh, I should give you an opponent, shouldn't I? That seems important.
Just a little bit.
So it's a quickness check, taking away your armor penalty.
Okay. So quickness would be what?
It's agility.
Agility?
If you don't have any bonus dice, then he should actually have something.
Okay, so this should be a -2. So 11.
Okay, well,
The bard gets 18.
the bird gets 18. I'm tempted. Yeah, okay, we can do that. If you want to run the bird at your initiative, that might be easier.
Yeah,
but you
probably.
can run it at 18.
I can.
All right.
It was the. Arthur's just quicker than I am.
But he probably takes his lead from you. He wouldn't have instructions.
Well, I don't actually have to instruct him to attack. He just does.
Now, I know mechanically you don't need to spend an action to do that, but it is a thing where you don't have mind control over it. So I guess you could use a free action sort of off your turn to do that, and I'd allow that if you like. But there are times when
I'd assume I've developed some sort of because a lot of falconry does have whistle and different types of commands. I'd assume I've developed commands for him.
Hey, Wim, you know that you can click and drag to select multiple tokens and add them to the turn order, right?
I mean, you asked that like it's a question, and the answer is no. I'm pretty sure I just added some people's tokens to the map layer because I'm super pro. So let's switch that up.
She'll go before me, so that's Plus.
Alright, so objects in token layer. I'll grab all these. Right click, advance, and add turns. Let's see what happens. Alright. So we've got Riker. No, hang on, who's first? Ben for Roland. I'm presuming that doesn't include a penalty.
Yeah, I do.
My 11 is with the penalty. Yes.
Okay, all good. You guys are putting them all in. Excellent. And yes, so I'll let you guys do that, and then I presume I need to order it once everyone's entered. So I'm still waiting for a Riker, a Jack.
No, I put mine in. I wasn't 11.
There you go. 6.
It said 13, but minus 2 is 11.
I've got no armor, so.
You have to hit enter.
But I have to enter?
Yeah, if you just click away after pressing it, deletes it.
Also, you have me on there twice.
I probably added you and then added you again.
I think you also have our skin changer on there twice, it looks like.
Yeah.
Answer Jason.
Cool. All right. Now, Ben, I know you know what's going on vis-a-vis combat, so I may in fact throw over Sir Jason to you if you like.
Oh, sure.
And we'll see how that goes. Response. I should really move him into PCs for now. It's all right.
Out of curiosity, what is he writing?
He should be running a Corsa, and I should really keep better track of people's mounts myself, actually.
So you need to remove him from the turn order and then re-add him because I cannot adjust his initiative yet.
I'll just throw it down. Probably that's true. Oh,
It'd be a 3 then.
Yeah, it says my initiative is 0.
all right. And what should it be, Riker?
11?
Cool. Does that mean I haven't? Everyone should have control of their tokens. Is that right?
Yep.
Cool. All right.
Yep.
Then I presume I need to numerically say descending. So bird goes first. Or are you going to shift forward, or do you want the bird to go on your turn? I'll give you that choice now.
He's going. I'm like, okay. Arthur. And he gives him a few hands and goes, peck that man's eyes out.
Okay. You can't. I mean, I'm not even sure what his movers. So he's going to fly over to the knight. He's going to roll 5 to attack. That is a hard miss.
Helmet too strong.
Yeah, look. Given that Riker has made the fairly accurate description of there being enemies in the woods, we'll see how this goes in a moment. Now, next up, after that, we have Riker.
Yep. I am going to hold for now.
Yeah, I will let you make an awareness check as an action if you like.
Hey, I will. Where's the opposition? Where's the ops? Where they at? I've been waiting for them.
Yeah, no. A 16 is well, look, I shouldn't say it's a failure. What I should say is that it seems like there are no other enemies nearby. I'm sure everything's fine.
They are fucking enemies.
Yep, that's your turn. Roland?
Roland.
I will let your horse mosey between these two if you like.
All right, I guess if we're dead set fighting this guy, I'm gonna charge him. Well,
Well, I wasn't dead set on fighting him. I was just dead set on not paying him, which is the same thing.
yeah.
I mean, also the knight has shouted in outrage as he's being attacked by this bird, so it seems like combat is,
I'm actually not going to take my turn.
Oh, okay, I'm just gonna delay. I'd allow some kind of ready action if you like.
Well, I only can charge him, but if I charge him, I get 1 dice, so it's not going to really work out. So
yeah, that is indeed rough. Okay, Christopher. The party has deferred to you.
If I must.
Now, I should clarify on everyone's turn. If you're mounted, you spend a lesser action to make a DC 0 ride check to control your mount. The DC is higher if your mount takes damage.
I'm going to charge at that guy.
Now, this is going to be a bit weird, but I think, what action are you? A charge action, I think, is a greater action, which means you can't take it on the same turn. You control this mount now for a number of rounds.
Yeah, charge is greater.
So you could spend a fatigue or a destiny to give you another lesser if you like. Otherwise, you could do a move, or you'd have to do a lesser action. Because my reading of the animal handling rules is that you spend a lesser action to control your mount first. As you know, you can move up. The move. Yep. I should really have what I might even do is I'm going to open up my copy of the rule to the animal stats, because I feel like those are the ones I haven't recorded.
Okay, I'm going to just move here, and I guess that's the end of my turn.
Yep. All right. That leads us to the knight, who's just being pecked by a bird. Sorry, I'm just pulling up the that's for animals. Look, he's being attacked by a bird. That's what he's going to attack. Because he can't even move away from it without provoking it. So let's see what he does to this bird.
Oh, poor bird. Wait, we better check some.
Alright, let's... Alright. Sorry, I'm going to need to re-roll that because that has too many dice. Which is good, because otherwise he would have just murdered that bird. I think it's
I was about to say, that's quite a bit for...
that's better. There you go. Just 1 fewer dice.
Miss.
Alright, there you go. It's a miss. That's probably a good thing in this circumstance.
Actually, the bard's pretty tough.
So is the combat defense of the bird 10?
Yep.
Okay, good note. Alright, so we then throw over to... sorry guys, still getting the hang on this a little bit. Let's see what this does.
Can I just say something right now? This bridge seems like a trap.
Like
as soon as we all go into it, they're all going to ambush from the back, and then.
Oh yeah, I know. That's why I'm rolling awareness.
Unfortunately, the passive awareness of the enemies is passive sneak is 17. So that happened.
Oh, what off?
Yep. And so that should be
Fucking assholes.
Yeah, look, I don't write the rules, I just use them to kill PCs. He is going to go ahead and use... Now, it didn't necessarily get the drop on you, so I won't give him extra
Equal
dice.
that gains at
but
least
what we
2
will
degrees on a
say
closet
is
attack
he
temporarily
has in
blinds
his
attack.
hands a hand axe and what appears to be some kind of misshapen peasant's tool. and he throws the hand axe. This being what appears to be some kind of bandit red. Ooh, hang on. Sorry, guys, one sec. Peter's giving me some fun today. Yeah. And he's not particularly talented, but he's certainly practiced with it. And he throws at Riker with a roll of a 5, a hand axe. How does that go, Riker? I'm guessing not well.
He misses.
He misses. All right, that is his turn, revealing himself. Moving.
And
up.
now I'm on your ass.
Yeah, now he's in trouble, I'm guessing. Cool. Unfortunately for you all, he's not alone. Yeah, this is slightly frustrating, actually. They're not moving them all between the layers. As another one, all of these hidden in the woods. This one will, in fact, also throw what appears to be a hand axe. Ooh, does that work? Oh, it does. Sweet. 9 at the bird misses, is that right?
Yeah.
Cool, alright, the bird survives yet again. And now it is Jack Randall's turn.
Jack Randall.
Jack Randall, exactly.
Sounds like a comic book character. All right, continue.
How far away is he on the? Sorry, how big is this river? How big is it?
Oh, it's only a few yards across. It's a stream rather than a river. So each square represents a yard. So at its narrowest point, it's probably 3.
You said we can't leave the road, though, right?
For deployment, you need to stay on the road. You can. It would be perhaps an animal handling check to move your horse, but certainly on foot you can move into it now.
Okay. Is there any like rocks around, like loose rocks or anything I can pick up? Just see if I can throw anything.
Some kind of improvised throwing. I mean, sure. Yeah. Look, in fact, there is a hand axe embedded in the dirt that was just thrown at someone who was next to you. So you can pick that up as a lesser action if you like.
Great, yeah, I'll pick that up.
Cool.
How do you determine movement again?
So your movement starts off, I believe, at a base of 4 or 5.
4.
Okay. And then you remove half your bulk from it.
Okay.
So if you've got a bulk of 2, your movement drops to 3. If you've got a bulk of 4, it drops to 2. And then your sprint is... I always get these numbers wrong. 4 times that.
Your sprint starts at 16, but your sprint is always going to be 4 times your movement, your bulk, and then subtract your bulk again.
Yeah. So you can't sprint in heavy armor very well.
Okay.
So I'm going to ready that in case any of the ones come closer. Just have an action ready. So if anyone comes closer to me, I'm going to chuck an axe at them.
Okay, anyone moves closer to you, you're going to chuck an axe at them. All right, good-o. Which, in fact... leads us to someone who is going to go ahead and just charge, which is this bandit wretch, and he is going to make the perhaps misguided notion to charge Sir Jason Bracken, which he will be able to do on his movement since he wears only soft leather. And he is going to stab at Sir Jason's mount, which is a courser, with his peasant tool. So that's not going to be super great as an attack, but it is a dangerous one. What's the combat defense on a courser? I should have it in front of me, but I don't. So guys, I might take a moment to support you.
11.
That's fine.
Oh, that's lucky then that he misses as well. As these enemies are coming thick and fast, but you're all somewhat ready for
11.
So as soon as he gets closer, I throw my axe at him then.
Oh, yes, you may make that roll, because he did move closer. He will have some light cover from your attack.
Oh, okay.
Just because he's coming out of the wood.
This is going to go badly.
Oh, look,
Yeah.
you have a go. That's what counts. And you almost clock him, but not quite. So what page do we have the animals down? Sorry, this is my bad.
That would be page 2.
221 for the horses.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, steering my thunder.
Yeah. Cool, thanks guys. Because, well, I think we're going to have some of that popping up. All right. 201 was it, or? I don't have that here.
221.
221. All right, thanks guys. All right, so we have an axe is thrown by Jack Randall. Being rather unpracticed in the art of throwing axes, it embeds itself harmlessly in a nearby tree. Immediately after it leaves his hand, a whooping cry of a bandit wretch emerges, who also makes a charging move. However, this one carries on his person a battle axe, which he wields two-handed, and he will charge and strike at your mount, Roland. But misses. Yeah, it's a hard miss.
Question for you, Rim.
For me?
Are these bandits, these ones right here, like the ones right here? Like, there's 3 of them in the picture. Is it just one bandit, or is it multiple bandits in a group? You know what I mean?
Yeah, look, if those 3 guys were standing next to each other, they would collectively look like the picture. I will only in warfare will I use one token to represent multiple people.
Okay.
Yeah, so these are individual bandit wretches. They look thoroughly unkempt. You see on some of their clothing, Riker, because you rolled high on your awareness, so as they come out, you see perhaps at least 1 or 2 of them. They have sort of tarnished gear that you might expect from to have been maybe a garrison soldier's equipment months ago, but it's now in very bad condition. So you have the impression that these men have lived rough for some time.
Okay.
Yeah. As he runs, and we have another. Oh, and he's going to wait. And Sir Jason, I believe we're up to.
Okay.
All right. Sir Jason's going to recklessly attack the guy that attacked his horse.
That seems appropriate.
Is he taking penalties for drunkenness at all?
He is now taking a 1 dice penalty, having slept off 1 dice worth of. Yeah, that seems about right. That's right, animal handling bonuses. I'm forgetting. Let me pull up the combat defense of these important villains to see if this guy is able to shrug off that light attack. The combat defense of these guys is, in fact, 5. So that is going to be 4 degrees. Tell me, what does 4 degrees net? And a crit.
All right, then that's going to be 40 damage.
All right, I'll just consult this character's health and destiny points to see if they're able to shrug that off, and the answer is no. How do I add something to this? How do you add your nice little red X?
Yeah, just click on the token and you should be able to do it.
Click on it, should be a thing at the bottom.
I see, yeah. There we go.
Yeah, no.
Boom. All right. He is smitten. And not in like a loving sense, more in like he no longer has a face sense. As he is killed. Which, moving on.
What his ass get for playing around?
Yep.
I told him that I wasn't paying. You should have listened. Kill him again, Jason. Kill him again. He
Kill him
ain't dead
again.
yet. Kill him again.
Yeah, look, I mean, I gotta say, Riker, you are lucky the events have unfolded in a way that, you know.
You know, I like at some point, when it's just not luck. It's just tactical strategy or just tactical fuckery. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just like I find myself in these situations, but I leave unscathed. You know what I mean? I don't know how I do it, but it happens. You know,
Alright.
It's a blessing.
So really, I'm just gonna have to like teach you restraint. So this bandit moves a little bit in, slightly closer, and he's not going to roll as many dice as we just had. And in fact, he is going to throw a hand axe, this time at Roland. Given how little success these guys have had at targeting people, he's throwing it at the Knight Squire. He rolls a 10. So what is your combat defense, Roland?
That is 1 degree.
That is an impressive 2 points of damage. How do you fare?
Nothing.
All right. Cool. All right.
My chainmail is essentially better version of Splint because of my improved armor mastery.
Yes, in this case, these bandits are going to have a tough time putting armor, and we'll go back to training them. All right, which brings us back to Arthur the Eagle. What's he going to do? We're back at the top of the turn order.
He's gonna attack this guy.
Oh, he's going to, yep. How's he going to do that?
He can fly.
Okay, so he's going to move over there first.
9.
Okay, that is a degree of success.
That is. Hold on. Let's make sure.
Sorry, how much damage was that for 1 degree?
That is 2 damage.
All right, the claws of the eagle scratch off the soft leather of the bandit wretch, which brings us back to Riker. Do we still have Riker?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just on the phone. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Quick phone call. Wife was asking me what I wanted for dinner. I was like Chinese. All right. So, because yeah. All right. So real quick, reach is what space in front of me, right? So like if I'm standing here, I can attack here with the reach.
What
correct?
weapon are you wielding?
I am wielding a long axe.
Yep. So you can essentially skip the square immediately
square?
next to you. Yep.
So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3. So stop here, and then I'm gonna attack him recklessly.
And now recklessly is a greater action. So if you've moved, you can't use it.
Oh really? I thought it was 2 lesser, 1 greater, or is it 1 lesser, 1 greater?
It's 2 lesser or 1 greater. So it's a
Oh,
lesser
okay,
action to move.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so then a normal attack.
Yep.
There's nothing else there because I don't think there's really any lessers that I could use to benefit an attack from me.
I mean, an attack's a good option.
Yeah. So, all right. Fuck his life up.
Axe or a battle axe?
He's using
Long
a long
axe.
axe. So that is going to go ahead and be 3 degrees of success. What kind of damage are you doing with that?
Okay, so the damage for this long axe is a 3.
That doesn't
it's your
sound right.
athletics plus 3.
Oh, athletics plus 3. So just roll athletics plus 3.
Plus a point of damage
You-
for each strength bonus die you have.
So when it says,
Okay.
so if it says athletics plus 3, you don't roll athletics. It's just what is your athletics score plus 3.
Yeah, my athletics score is 3,
So that's,
and then plus 3, so 6.
and it's and you don't have strength
And-
dice, do you?
No.
Okay, so 6 with 3 degrees is 18, less his armor, less his health, and that's gonna clock this guy out of the fight.
It's also
It's also vicious.
because you doubled his combat defense, which means the base damage is actually 10, so you did 30 damage.
Oh no.
And I'm vicious, so he's definitely dead.
Yeah, and I'm having trouble navigating. One sec. Sorry, guys. There we go.
Time to roll the critical table, baby.
Yeah,
Let's get a horrible death going.
yeah. Such a good crit that you kill yourself. That's how. All right. So Roland Baratheon, the bandit falls at your feet, crumpled and dead. Riker, now Roland, what is your action?
I will. Everyone's kind of in my way, so I guess I'll have to move. Can I move to the corner of the bridge here, or is that a...
Can you ping the square? Ooh, it's gonna. I don't know. We'll say yes. The edges of the bridge aren't covered by a rail. It is a
you a real one.
Simple flat bridge. So we'll say yes.
Yeah,
Down here to the squares.
Well, wait a second. It may be better to use a trample, actually, since my animal handling is actually better than...
Yeah, trample him. Trample him. Pancakes.
So I think that's an animal handling riot check, and against combat defense. So where's your right action? Where's your trample going to take you? Roland.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so I'm going to trample all the way over here.
All right.
Did you lower my health or something? What's going on?
In what regard?
My health was lowered to 11, and I'm not sure why.
I don't have that. Oh, I see it. I didn't mean to. I didn't touch it, so we'll move up to 12.
Okay. Anyways, so that is a animal handling test, and it deals my horse's athletics per degree, and the combat defense increases by 5 on the second guy.
Yep.
Does my ride bonus apply?
I will say yes, because this is clearly a ride.
Okay. Good to know. I don't actually have ride, but someday I will.
It's worth investing in for this reason. All right, so on the first guy, that's going to be 2 degrees of success, and on the second guy, that's going to be 1. So your animal's athletics is
Athletics 4, so 8 damage and then 4 damage.
all right. You do precisely enough damage to the first one. I mean, does your horse choose how this? Because, like, what is the temperament of your horse?
That Roland owns is obviously going to have vicious hooves.
Okay, the bandit is first one is slain precisely, and the second one takes a mean-looking hoof to the face, but remains standing for now at least. Cool. That doesn't seem to be recording the changes I'm making.
Actually, I'm going to burn a fatigue and make an attack.
Ooh, that seemed OP as hell, and I love it. All right, go ahead. What weapon are you attacking with?
My halberd, and if you'll allow me, I'd like to take my last point of movement on that.
I absolutely will, because I'm seeing the problem I think you've just seen.
Yeah. All right, so I'm rolling 4 dice and dropping 2 because of my It's lack of specialty.
Yep. So just for the benefit of other players, Roll using a weapon he doesn't have training with his test dice. He's still got a degree of success on his attack though, for 8 damage, which is on its own would have been enough to slay the man. So the man is slain.
Well, that was an 8 to hit.
It's all right. 1 degree does it.
All right, and then 7 damage, not 8.
Then that wouldn't have killed him on his own, but coupled with the hoof, the man is slightly too slow to react and is skewered on the point of your halberd, we'll say, as you ride past, with a rather vicious 2-kill maneuver. We may revisit the trample attack combo, but for now I love it. And how do we move through the order? I've got it listed on Arthur, haven't I? All right, Christopher.
Yeah, I'm gonna charge this guy.
Yep. So Robin, you certainly can. Are you going to attack him or his mount?
I'm gonna attack him. Only a coward attacks a mount. 14.
Okay, let's have a look. Now, once you've done that, that's going to provoke a couple of radiant actions as well, but that's fine, and we'll deal with that in a moment. He has 7 combat defense, which means that is 2 degrees. What kind of damage is that looking at?
8 damage. Per
8
degree.
damage. Oh, per degree, so 2 degrees, 16 damage. He is wearing what appears to be mail, so he barely remains on his horse, having taken a large amount of damage, but he's still up, and now he's angry.
Oh, there's also a spear Warlance.
Have you impaled him? Pardon?
Enough to impale him on a Warlance?
I think that's 3 degrees from memory.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to work out.
Okay.
Yep. Far out. Sorry, guys. I'm in a bit of trouble with these tokens. I'm gonna alter it. All right. That should. Sorry. Yeah, because I'm changing the health, but it's not saving it. It's going straight back. Well, he is on 1 health. That's frustrating. Is he not in his optimal range, Ben?
Oh, okay, I forgot. Charge actually does add 2 damage. Got to add that.
It would, but also you'd be rolling fewer dice.
Well, technically,
you've got to be one. You've got to be 1 closer as well. I think charging 1 square. So you might move 1 closer as well. Because you've already rolled, we might leave it as is, unless you prefer to roll with dice.
Well, technically.
Now, so there should be 2 squares left between you and him, since your optimal fighting range is reach.
Okay.
3, I believe. All right. And as soon as you do that, by the way, because you have attacked Sir Robin, you have provoked other things to happen, which is
Berserkers.
Berserkers. Surely not. This guy will throw a hand axe at you with +1 dice because he has not yet been detected. So that's going to be a bit nastier. 13.
My combat defense 7.
Pardon?
My combat defense is 7.
Okay, so that's going to be 2 degrees, which is unlikely to penetrate your armor. What is your armor?
5.
5, yep, so that clings off. And sorry, one more time, what was that? 7?
Yeah, 7.
That's all right. Yep, so that clangs off. Not quite. And a second one, very, very near your eagle, but still undetected by him, will throw this axe at your mount. Let's see what happens. Oh, okay. Now, Course's defense was 11, so that's going to be 1 degree for 2 damage
I'm not riding.
on your mount.
Not riding a Corso.
Sorry, I can't quite hear you there, Brett.
I'm riding a Destria.
Oh, Destria. All right, cool. It's 2 points on the Destria. Which, look, you probably only have 2 many attacks on that, so that will provoke turn a riding check to remain in control. And that is the end of your turn. As these 2 men had basically prepared actions to attack anyone who attacked their liege, Sir Robin, or their leader, which then takes us to Robin Cowell, who's going to... Now, sorry guys, I am having a little bit of trouble with the health bars on these guys because I'm adjusting them, but they're not staying adjusted. He is going to, for not pick on your eagle, he's going to move in. And make an attack of his own. And he's getting extra bonus dice because he is also mounted. Let's see what happens. This attack will be on Christopher Rivers. 19.
That's a 3 degrees success.
Yep, 3 degrees, and I'm guessing a crit as well. Your combat 7. So this is going to get... Well, look, he's going to do some damage. Luckily for you, the fact that his sword is rusted means that it does slightly less damage than otherwise would. And so you take 6 damage per degree, and that was 3 degrees, so that is 18 damage, including the crit.
I'm dead.
Luckily, the game allows you to take injuries and wounds.
No, wait. How's that 16 damage?
So his base damage is 4 damage per degree, plus 2 because of a crit, because he more than doubled your combat defense, which brings up to 6 damage per degree, because he rolled 1/6. Times 3 is 18.
Okay, -5. See how much health do I
Yep,
have?
so 13.
So I take 1 injury, so...
Yep, okay, 1 injury and 5 armor will reduce that to 10 damage, I believe. Is that right?
Yep. No.
Correct me on my math.
Actually, I should take 2 injuries. So this is 7 damage, and that takes me down to 2 health.
Okay, cool. But you are still up. And that is Robin. Which brings us down to Bandit Wretch over here, who's been killed, so I should really move him. There we go. And this one who is still there, which is next to your eagle, and is going to attack that eagle with a peasant tool, which is a mean-looking scythe, and he's going to roll a simple 3 dice.
Eagle's dead. Oh. Actually, that's 2 degrees.
Not the eagle.
Actually, the eagles can take wounds and injuries as long as they have cohorts, but...
Where's that stated?
It's stated in the animal cohort thing.
Okay, cool. In that case, so what's your combat defense?
10.
So 2 degrees, that's 8 damage.
So
So You're probably not in wound territory yet.
Yeah, it's one injury.
Yep, and loses most of its health otherwise. I'll get you a proper token session as well, by the way, sorry. Yep, injury on the bird. And where does that leave us? Jack Randall.
Yes. Okay, let's see. I start getting medical supplies ready for everyone coming back. Because they seem to have taken a bit of a hit.
Yep. You can take another action as like 2 actions that can be useful for non-combat or less combat characters are assist and distract, but I'll let you look those up if you like. And you're just going to ready supplies this turn and go on to Dead Bandit Wretch. Get rid of him. Turn is getting cleaner. That's handy. Dead Bandit Wretch. Get rid of him. Living Bandit Wretch was going to throw another hand axe because they have 2 each. And let's see what comes of that. This will be at Christopher Rivers, who is... I mean, this is what happens with bridge situations. The front line gets hurt. Let's see what happens. Ooh. A 9.
1 degree of success.
Alright, the hand axe clangs off your armor, which is uselessly and to little effect. Which leads us to another Dead Bandit Wretch and Sir Jason, the heroic, the brave.
Sir Jason. Does he have a turning lance on him?
Look, he absolutely does. Why not? We'll address that later. But yes, he certainly does.
All right. Well, he's gonna go break his turning lance on the knight, help bail out this king.
All right. So it's a charge attack.
You know, like the Milton's Cradle, like
he
the
is
ball
currently
hits their
taking
balls.
a -2 dice penalty, correct? From drunkenness and charging?
Yes.
Chester must feel so safe with the drunk, like, charging at him, you know?
Yeah. Trying to get a lance like through him to the other knight. I'd say that if you critical failed, you would hit Christopher, but that's unlikely to come up. That is going to be... Let's double check this. 2 degrees, neatly.
14 damage, and he breaks the lance.
All right. How does a robber knight who's, by all appearances, what fate... I mean, look, I'm going to say, if you don't mind, because he's an NPC, that Jason chooses to slay the man and hits him cleanly in the mouthpiece of his helmet, slaying him.
I was going to maim him.
No, well, look, that's even better. Still hits him in the mouth.
So for the sake of saving time, does combat end when the meter goes down?
No.
I want to impose a penalty to his cunning.
Yeah, right. Why not?
Hopefully it's now 1.
It sure is. All right, so Sir Jason has killed or defeated the Sir Robin Cal, who lies sprawled on the ground. For now, at least, his men hold, although that may not be a permanent state of affairs. I mean, this bandit is going to still hit the last of his axes. So I should say that this bandit is going to throw the last of his axes at Christopher Rivers to see what comes of it.
Miss.
That's a clean miss. Yeah. Which leaves 1 more who's dead. All right, cool. That's the end of our round, I believe. Bringing us back to Arthur, the one, the only, the true king of the rivers and the hills.
And the mud.
10.
Yep. 10, that's going to be 2 degrees on the bandit in front of
Yeah, that's, yeah, I think that's actually a special ability.
I believe there is, yeah.
Eagle that gains at least 2 degrees.
Yep, he's now temporarily blinded. And, he takes a -2 on his next attack.
All right, -2 his next attack. That may
2 dice.
2 dice. Well, that's certainly hinder him.
And that's 4 damage.
4 damage.
Unless he's dead.
No, because this is the first damage he's taken. All of these guys are wearing what used to be some approximation of soft leather, so he soaks 2 of that. But again, it's not recording health damage, so he is down to 4 hit points, that bandit on the left, which takes us to Riker.
Okay, how far can I move? If I use my entire action.
What is your bulk?
Bulk is at 2, so I'm moving at 3 spaces.
So your base movement is 3. Your sprint will then be. So what you do is you take your original speed, which is 4, take away half your bulk to reduce to 3. If you sprint, you then times that by 4 to 12, and then take away your bulk again, which brings you down to 10. So you can sprint
spaces.
10, I believe. Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Also, anyone making attacks against you while you're sprinting or after you sprint takes -1 dice penalty.
Sprint's quite a good move, actually. It's actually a good solid option, for charging as well if you're trying to do it defensively.
Yeah. So really, our good maester friend should be running around in circles to avoid being.
Yeah. Just constant sprinting.
All right, sprinted.
Over the river or around the river?
I ran on the edge here, so basically I did it sideways and then ran this way.
Cool. All right. Don't get hit there, or I'll make you make a check not to fall in the river. But sure. All right,
I don't plan on
I thought
getting
you
hit.
said
there.
it was a creek.
Yeah, it's sort of a stream. It's still flowing. You can fall into it. Probably not get swept too far away, but you can drown in calm water. So it's little more than a stream. And so that's Riker having sprinted. Roland.
Do I need to make a test to get across the stream here, or can I just move through it? Terrain?
We'll treat it as difficult terrain for your horse, as your horse is a large combat trained mount who is going to be fine. So you can ford it as difficult terrain.
I assume that each square is going to be 1 meter.
Yep, each square is 1.
All right. If it's difficult terrain, then I just move. I use a sprint to move there.
All right, they are enclosed, which takes us to Christopher. Now, Christopher, as your mount took damage last turn, you need to make a check to stay in control. You fail. I'll point out that if you were riding a Corsa, that would have succeeded, but the test is the passive will of your mount, which for a Destrier is 16. So you can test again if you like, because it's a lesser action because you've got a war trained mount. So you can test twice, and then you need to look up the rules again. Ben, what did you losing control of your mount?
It begins sprinting away in the opposite direction from the danger.
Okay, that'll be into the stream. Cool.
So whatever the Destrier sprint distance is, the other way.
I mean, that's just fun. Perhaps to avoid that, Brett, you can roll again to control your mount if you like. Otherwise, you fail. All right. I kind of want to make a trample attack against Riker now as your horse runs through him into the river.
I mean, horses aren't stupid. They wouldn't run into other horses.
Well, I mean, wouldn't they? Just had an axe thrown at him.
When wouldn't they? I'm trying to kill me. Get out of here.
Look, I won't make you make a trample attack, but your horse will in fact run through Riker, who is then going to need to make an
Agility check.
check.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. Maybe I can sidestep it.
Yeah. Yeah, look, no.
No, not with a 6.
That's all right, no. So, Riker, you're just knocked into the adjacent square and knocked prone for what that's worth, yep. And Christopher, your mount, we'll leave him there for now, but you've sprinted away.
Stupid fucking
Which-
horse.
Oh shit! Could I have spent a destiny point? No, it's too late now. I haven't even involved. It's too late now.
That's all right. I'm not making it a trample attack. That would be mean.
Okay.
Roland, you've had your turn. Christopher's had his turn. Robin Cal is defeated, which leads us to a temporarily blind bandit wretch who is going to assist the bandit next to him with his next attack, rather than attacking himself, which leads us to Jack Randall.
Okay, can I sprint as far as I can in this direction?
You can. Now, what armor are you wearing?
I'm not wearing armor.
Okay, so you're going to have a nice height. Wow, man. If you get hit, you're going to go down like a sack. Okay. Your sprint then is 16, I believe.
16?
Yep.
Oh, you are moving. You the Flash on the court.
1, 2. I want to go around, so whatever.
And what does sprinting do when you're near an ally?
Near an ally does nothing, really.
What was the bonus that sprinting did?
Can I hear
If
them?
an enemy
Yeah.
attacks you after you're sprinting before your next turn, they lose a dice from their attack.
Oh, okay.
So I get to there.
Yep.
and then-
Okay.
Is that my action done then?
Yep. Sprinting is a greater action. That is I mean, you can move, friend. Now we have this bandit up here, who is actually, I'm going to give him a good will check. Why not? Nope, that shouldn't be it. It's a bit high for a bandit's will check. All right, he is going to flee and begin.
Oh, he a rare one. He knows what
Bandit.
survival looks like.
He's going to begin sprinting in this direction. So he's out of there unless anyone begins pursuing him this round. So that was that guy, which takes us down to Sir Jason.
Give me a second to get back to my computer.
Oh, good.
Lightning strike.
So I'll need to put up horse stats for next session.
You
because
caught
next
me
session
taking a
is,
nice pee.
as opposed to a bad pee. That's all right.
Yep, facts. Oh, phone's ringing.
Is the bird in a space where I can share, or is it too low?
The bird will make way and hover above Sir Jason. Why not?
It's a bird.
Leave the one left.
And
I should
and
have leave the
who
one
is
left
not
for me.
blind?
The one on the right is not blind or temporarily
Oh, right. So I will attack the blind one.
No, I want that.
But he's about to recklessly attack the bird.
The blind one's not recklessly attack the bird.
No, he's just the blind one's assisting.
All right. Well, then I'm going to attack the blind one.
Oh, I want to kill the blind one.
Well, that seems mean. All right. So the temporarily blind one. So you, Oh, look, I mean, he's down.
I would guess, yeah.
Yeah. Sir Jason using at this point his alternative weapon. So the
I'm just going to assume that the assist is wasted now that the guy assisting's dead.
Yep, the assist is wasted, so the next remaining bandit will be less effective as he.
When he
Sorry,
surrenders surrounded by 3 people.
He could offer a surrender on his turn. He's just, however, he also can't leg it. Let's see. Let's have a roll. He meets the DC 6 courage check I had decided to impose, which the other one failed by 1. So he is going to go ahead and he won't recklessly because that's a bit cruel. He will do a standard attack on Alberto with a.
And the bird not even be in the area.
The bird did in fact fly above Sir Jason, so he's going to have a tough time hitting the bird. So that's a good point. So he will go ahead and attack. Why not Roland? For good measure with a peasant tool. And we'll see what comes of that. Roland, how you doing?
1 degree.
4 damage.
Unaffected.
Oh, all right. At which point he will use his other lesser action. He's going to fatigue. No, he can't fatigue. He's just going to cower and presumably die in just a moment. Taking it back up to the top of the order, Arthur.
Wait, this is the one that hot Arthur. Arthur's very angry at this. 14.
That's going to be 2 degrees, which is going to result in a temporary blinding, 2 points of damage, if I recall.
Yep.
4 minus 2 for his armor, so 2. Which brings us to Riker. Now, Riker, standing up is going to be a lesser action because you were knocked into the river. It's really just sort of around your ankles, so it won't require a. I won't make you make a swim check because that seems like a mean way to kill PCs in the first. Second session. Do we have a Riker?
Riker. He's probably doing something.
Hang on, he's actually dropped out of roll 20. So.
Yeah, maybe his internet crapped out.
Alright, that's alright. We'll skip him for now because we're on Roland.
My turn?
Yep, go ahead.
Well, I'm a little out of position, so I'll practically attack from where I'm at to make up for the.
So this is another attack. That is 1 degree. No, 2 degrees, in fact.
14.
That is going to finish the deal, as it were. Given that this guy was temporarily blinded, surrounded by adversaries, he goes down. It shows the foolishness of passing a courage check, which so with all of the enemy defeated, Christopher, on your turn, I'll let you make your check. Actually, what I'll say is if you bring them out under control this turn, you'll have the opportunity. Actually, all I'll just say is, do you have an interest in pursuing the bandit wretch into the woods? If so, we'll keep it in rounds. Otherwise, you'll get your mount under.
I mean, I see. Let's just say I don't pursue the bandit because I don't get my mount under control.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you're riding a mount which is probably taller than you are, or at least as tall as you are. The destriers are a breed apart and require strong handling. But with combat dying down, you will be able to bring your under control relatively quickly and bring it back to the road.
Stupid fucking horse.
Now look, any Will 4 animal is going to be challenging to control.
And I guess just was like, oh, apparently I've been stabbed.
Yes, that would have been, well, yeah, you're sporting an injury from a rusty bastard sword.
Actually, 2 injuries.
2 injuries. We'll call it a double injury. A couple of broken ribs. Why not? Bruised ribs. If you're going to recover from it in a day. After the battle dies down, the forest is oddly quiet, as most.
We're not going to follow the regular rules of recovery for injuries.
We will, in fact, so you'll have a chance to test healing for it in 24 hours. Well, as if that's where your help's going, Jack, well, Chewie, then you can roll healing, or Christopher can roll endurance. On that, and that'll be technically a treat injury check if you've got specialty dice. And you don't need to do that now, just because we'll keep that. Sorry. We'll keep that roll. That's all right. It's a solid roll.
He's like, oh, I think Arthur's also hot.
I'm sorry, you broke up there a bit, Brett. What was that?
Christopher says, well, I think Arthur's also hot.
Don't you worry, I'll get to him right away.
Oh, look, I mean, if you want to use that check instead, you. I'm not sure if I mean, is that? I'm not even sure if that's going to be an animal handling or a heal check. Like, what is the primary size?
I think it's probably the same thing.
It'd probably be healing with disadvantage or some sort of penalty because it's a bird instead of a person. It's
certainly harder to diagnose. So you've defeated 6 bandits. 7. Let's have a count. 6 bandits. Each bandit was wearing soft leather, although in this case, shredded or damaged in some way. If from each you're able to recover 1 hand axe, 1 battle axe. Most peasant tools have been broken in the struggle. So 6 battle axes, 6 hand axes. For those who seek to recover them. I mean, in regards to the aftermath of battle, how do characters what do?
Well, I guess Arthur lets himself get treated, then goes over to the knight who's probably now permanently retarded.
Sorry, you're breaking up there quite a bit, Brett. Like I'm missing the end of your word because of the sensitivity.
Sorry, my fault. How about now?
That seems good.
He goes over to, after getting his injuries treated, says, he's probably going to be a dimwit for the rest of his life.
Oh, look, if you want to do it. Yeah. I mean, at this point, Robin Cow will be, unconscious. Probably benefit for him, as his mouth is, or his head, he's sporting a nasty head injury, and may not recover immediately, if at all. Okay.
Christopher takes out his dagger and finishes him off.
Do you indeed?
Yes, but
Jack stops him.
This is... Don't leave a man half dead.
The man was a criminal. Should we not turn him over to the authorities?
He's going to be dead in either way, so it doesn't really matter.
Well, you're going to be dead someday as well. Does it really matter what we do with you?
I'm saying he's already half dead. By the time we get him to the authorities, he'll most likely be more dead.
Half dead can still give answers.
I don't think He points to his head. It's like, I don't think you kind of softened his skull.
Do as you wish. Lord of mods. Who am I to object? You know. I just walk off. I start treating the bird.
Okay, just gonna leave it open. Which, I mean, Sir Jason has nodded at your words, Roll, but other than that, he's seems preoccupied.
He pushes the dagger into his side of his neck. Says, "Whatever. May the stranger take you."
Okay. Those around you seem a little disquieted by your actions, Christopher. But unless anyone physically intervenes, we'll let that be as it be done.
Well, now that that's over, Christopher says, might as well figure out why he was here.
Might as well figure out why the man you've just killed was here.
He searches his pockets and.
Well, you find no telltale note if that's what you're looking for. But upon his person, sorry, I'm getting a bit of feedback on your end, guys, again. Upon his person, you find a rusty bastard sword, which would require repair to be of much use. So it functions as a bastard sword, but does one fewer damage until it's repaired, which is why he didn't hit quite as hard as he would have. There's also a suit of fairly decent mail. However, that would take probably a few minutes to properly remove, or a few moments at least. Although it lacks any kind of helmet, which is why you're able to make him out so quickly. On him, you would find 4 silver stags as well. That's what you'd find it.
Well, he won't know. Someone have a shovel.
Well, while you're doing that, can I see the bastard sword?
Yeah, you can have it. It's pretty broken up.
Okay. Can I evaluate it then? I've got the speciality evaluate.
Yeah, so straight away you would see that as it stands now, it would probably sell for half as much as it would if it was repaired. So it's essentially a half value bastard. But if it had as much, a few good hours of repair invested in it, it would probably return to full value since it's rusted and dented. And so for as depending on the cost of that would be between 50 and 100 silver stags to repair it, and then it would be a full value bastard sword.
Mm-hmm. Can I see if there's anything like special about it, like anything that belonged to anyone special, or?
No, it's certainly not castle. It's of knightly proportions and commonly would buy knights, but it wouldn't have been made. In fact, you can tell that it hasn't been made by any particularly notorious smith. If it does bear a smith's mark, that's long since faded from. So it's fairly nondescript, other than being incredibly worn.
Okay. Sorry.
Cool. So you pick that up. So Jason hasn't moved to dismount at this point. And he seems ready enough to continue, but others can dally a little longer if they like.
Arthur's gonna.
Wait, can I go?
He's gonna strip the man of mail. Never waste and strip what he can from most of the bandits.
So Jason frowns down at you as you strip the mail from the knight and says, young Christopher, you did to survive the knight's blows, but by my count, that is not your spoil of victory. He nods towards probably one of his squires to take that, since he himself defeated the knight.
Fair enough.
I mean, you could enter an intrigue with them if you like.
Just fair enough. Just
Michael, at this point, will ride over and take them up. The sword and the mail are worth quite a bit of cash. It's certainly in Hedge Knight's money. Yes, so the bandits would each have a battle axe and a hand axe on them. There were 6 defeated, and each would carry, we'll say, 3 copper pieces. So there's 18 copper pieces as well. These have not been particularly successful bandits. As such, well, certainly not anymore. Everyone's health goes up to full, but injuries will still need to be recovered. Anything else?
Roland will say this. Will suggest to Sir Jason that we give the copper coins to the poor at the abbey. After all these bandits have been robbing the
Sir Jason nods and says, "It's a wise suggestion, Roland. They have more need of it even than us. It seems as though these lands have been badly beset by bandits. If they're able to waylay travelers on the main passage through these parts, so it is barely eroded in truth. We shall inform Lord Malister.
What should we do with the bodies?
A feast for the crows, no doubt. With winter soon to arrive, the scavengers will likely have them.
Shouldn't we bring the heads to Lord Malister?
Seems rather grisly. To what end?
Perhaps a living captive.
These men were bandits. They should be made an example.
Jason looks thoughtfully. Tristram says, "What do you have in mind?"
Well, we've got a few minutes. Get some sticks, sharpen them up, mount their heads on pikes, put them alongside the bridge.
Seems a rather barbaric gesture to make. I doubt Lord Malister would thank us for such a thing on his own lands. Perhaps it is something we might suggest to him, but certainly not an action we should take on our own.
Very well, sir. I suggest we ride on. Right.
Yeah, I mean, you can certainly collect the heads if you like and suggest the action to Lord Malister, but Jason won't take that action himself long.
Yeah. Yes.
So you do? Do you collect the heads or not?
Yeah, collect the heads.
Good-o. As the party reassembles, you get a horrified look from the young ladies as they see a few heads in bags on the saddle of your horse.
Just a pack of heads.
Yeah, just a pack of heads. Now, very quickly, because I don't want everyone to collect these, is anyone collecting the axes from the bandits, or have they been left?
Jack will collect them. Why not? If he's going to them, inspect them, make sure they're all dead, and all, make sure they're getting up.
Yep. Fair enough. I mean, yeah, you guys can split that up. You can discuss splitting that up as you like, but for now, at least, there's no need. All right. The winding path to Hag Spy continues. The road becomes a little bit less clear as you walk. It seems as though the roads in these parts are, at several points the road is interrupted by sort of newer growth or weather damage, and so I require we'll just say a survival check, although the path seems relatively clear and certainly possible to follow. I'll take it if whoever's in the lead can make a survival check, or someone can be nominated for that end.
Who would be in front? It wouldn't be Jack. He would not be front.
Okay, Jack's not doing it. As we have Roland making.
Christopher will probably be in the rear. He's pretty banged up.
Yeah, he's taking some hits. That's true. Very well. After another, as you ride on, a light rain starts, and some time passes, perhaps an hour. Road in the distance, you can make out over the tree line what appears to be the spire of a stone building. In the distance, a few 100 yards away, certainly less than a mile. And as you round a corner in the woods, the trees. Sorry, I'm getting a bit more feedback on your end, Brett. I think it is. I don't want to cut you off because I do want to hear what you have to say. Just so you know, that's coming through. As you pass one more bend, the trees do become clearer. There is, and you see the road leading its way to Hagspire Abbey, which in the distance appears to be a rather large stone building. In fact, a collection of buildings. The inner buildings seem to be surrounded by a low wall and a more motley collection on the outside. It is 20 buildings and in all a small hamlet around a central abbey. However, between you and that, a small group of men on the side of the road appear to be engaged in an activity of sorts. Several of them bear ratty, little better than rags. One wears the armor of a knight, though he is not a horse. And two of these men carry heavy-looking crossbows. They are better armed than the bandits you have as you approach, although one like them is in their midst. I'll just pull us over to this page. Because between you and the Abbey are this group. So Jason is at your center, and this short journey has taken you, ably guided by Roland Baratheon, has taken you here. So I'll just open up these. Let's have a look. So do you guys see? You guys can drag up tokens if you like. Need them. So as you approach, you see So you are grouped on the left side of the map as the. Has someone just charged Jason in? I'll leave him over here. Guys, I've moved Jason. All right, whatever. Jason's over there on the left. I will revoke permissions if it comes to it. And
a little drunk.
he is. Although certainly the fire of fighting has burned that out of him for now. Question?
Christopher Rose is gonna hail them and say,
Okay, so you hail them. To their 4 steps, a tall looking figure. He across his back, he wears a knightly sword. Just see if I can pull it up. A tall looking knight, though he's not wearing finely wrought knightly mail.
Sir Conrad Sir Baron.
Shouts to as you arrive. He says, "Hail! I am Sir Conrad Sebra. I am in the service of Lord Malster and his master at arms."
well, we have
Identify yourselves.
I am Christopher Rivers. And I could not speak.
Yeah. He sniffs a little at the mention of your surname. And who are these with you, Christopher?
I mean, they can speak for themselves.
Indeed. He looks over to you, Roland and Jack. I'm hearing your line open, Chewie, but I'm not hearing anything from you.
Oh no.
Oh man, go well.
That's where we get our ass kicked, okay?
Um,
I will introduce myself and Michael and Sir Jason, as well as the ladies and not Rika, and Jack, assuming that Jack doesn't speak up.
yeah.
No,
You,
as soon as you would introduce me, I'll interrupt you, but introduce everyone else.
okay. Narratively roll and introduce like the 10 people who aren't here to introduce themselves. And then it comes to Jack.
The name's Jack Randall, apprentice to Maester Farm.
Oh, indeed. Sir Conrad seems somewhat taken aback by the list of all these noble names. Baratheon, Brackon. He nods to him
I had a
himself.
question, actually.
By all means. For me or for Conrad?
Well, for the group, mostly for you. I was not present when we left the tavern as a group. Do we have a noble lady's body with us, or did we just leave it unburied, or what was the plan of action there?
The young heir of House Charlton took responsibility for that, for seeing her body return to her family land.
Which
and
are
given that,
actually on the other side of where we're going, right? If I understand it correctly.
yes,
Or is she the other Vance?
She's not a Vance of Wendish Town. She's actually a Vance of Atlanta, so that's quite a distance, and he's going to be taking a different road to get her there.
So she's way further south.
Yeah. So her body will be preserved, transported, possibly even somewhere else like the Quiet Isle, if they don't think they can get it there.
They pickled her?
Yeah, I guess, actually.
That's how I like my noble women, pickled.
Yes, so you don't have... I was going to say you don't have dead bodies with you, but that's not entirely true, as there are.
we just
We have partial.
Christopher River was right for it and says, "Oh, by the way, and he points out the heads. We encountered some bandits on the road here."
So Conrad looks at the heads with a moment's distaste. Then, seeing one perhaps that he recognizes, he nods and says, "Indeed, these there were some men who deserted from my liege some weeks ago. By the looks of it, these are those wretches. Though he gestures to the one behind him, who's in fact just been strung up by the three raggedy men he's with, and now is basically clutching at his throat as the life is choked from him, and says, though we were able to capture a scout that had left on this road. No, you have my lord's thanks, Christopher," he says, nodding. Though through that gesture you see some disdain. And he sniffs at you. I see you are traveling in quite an august company. A lady of House Aaron, as well as the renowned Sir Jason Bracken. Tell me, what business have you all in these parts?
We're chasing the murderer of Lady Vance.
A murder, you say? A foul deed. How did which Lady Vance was this? There are several throughout the Riverlands.
That just was like the several lady. He just looks at us like
Well,
my
yes,
Lady Vance. Well, technically not in that way, you'd my liege, and I promise to bring her killers to justice.
Indeed. Well, given that you were accompanied by ladies of the Vale, I take it that this is, I had heard word that Lady Vanessa Vance had been there for some time.
Yes, yes.
There are other ladies. There are three main branches of House Vance. So there are a few Lady Vances in the Riverlands. But it is sad to hear she's passed. She was a lady of some renown. Tell me, how did you say she was murdered? Was it by brigands such as these? He says, gesturing behind.
No, we suspect one of the. Someone tried to burn down Lord whatever his name is, New Bridge, and killed Lady Vance.
I'm gonna take that whatever his name is as in character because I feel like that it suits Christopher's likely knowledge score. Indeed, that's. I hope there has been no damage done to it as that bridge promises greater access to the Abbey for my Lord Malister. He will want to hear of this. This foul news of our near neighbour. Please, you have done us all a service in the.
I'm sorry about the gruesome heads, bringing you the heads. I don't. Well, in the Fast Man, we always take the heads, put them on spikes to show.
He nods. You and I are of like minds regarding.
It shows future brigands that what happens when they disturb the peace.
Indeed, Conrad nods at you. I think this is a good course of action. We should sow fear in the hearts of our enemies, particularly as there are so many disloyal swine in the region.
I don't mean to keep your lord waiting. Would you like us to?
Yes, indeed. My lord will want to hear of these events you have. I will offer you. I can offer you the shelter of Hagspire Abbey on his behalf, as our work here seems to be done. As he says this, the bandit wretch behind him finally expires. The guards heft their crossbows over their shoulders, and the raggedy-looking men follow you all and Conrad back to the Abbey.
Sir Derry.
Nope. Who?
Or sorry, Sir whatever his name is, Corbin.
Conrad.
Yep. We got there. I think he was going to be a Dari eventually. I might have.
What?
Sorry. It's Cerber, which is a Bracken vassal, in fact. Although this.
Yeah, it's a little confusing because it says that he's Derry.
No, I'm sorry. I actually did change the character to a house with the storyline. I'll change that back now. That should be Cerber.
Anyways, Sir Conrad, did you see the owner of those prints there?
He. So you found a particular track. I'll just change that now. I'm guessing you found a particular one, and so he walks over to you and investigates the thing and says, "Oh, a queer thing indeed." Noting the size of the print. Any man or beast of a size to make such a thing, I've seen no higher of. Though
The giant.
Sir Conrad laughs at this notion. A giant, the last of the giants. were slain during the Holy Crusade to take these lands, young man, and I'm sure none still live. But yes, it's
No,
perhaps a
no, it's a giant. We've been tracking it since.
well, I will believe such a thing when I see it. He says to you.
What of two men on horseback? Have you seen them?
We had some word of riders hereabouts, but none that stopped in the abbey. My lord has in his service a fine tracker who goes by the who has a fine tracker who perhaps may be able to assist you in this. As such tracks can become more difficult to follow the longer they've been in the ground. Who may be willing to offer the service of. Though in truth, we are much beset late, and we may not be able to offer you as much assistance as your noble, the nobility of your company deserves in this endeavor. Although I could not advise him to, chasing giants. Sir Conrad arches his eyebrows. Seems a more speculative endeavor than the enemies he's already confronted with. He scowls a little, not at you, but at the situation he finds himself in.
The knight might not be a giant, or just a man, a very large man.
Yeah, there are large men hereabouts. We had the Freys guest with us, passed through earlier today. In the early hours of the morning, they had with them a large lad standing more than 7 feet tall, if he's an inch.
How many Freys?
Does he wear boots?
How many Freys? No more than half a dozen. Sir Jason Hay led them, so perhaps they would be better identified as a Hay party. They are in the service of House Frey. They indicated that they are to attend the turning in Weddish Town.
Did the lad wear boots?
The lad, yes, as any man would, astride a horse. So I'm just gonna have to. Yeah, that's all right. I might turn my sound down a little bit. I'm just getting a bit of background noise. So yes, the lad wore boots, from what I could tell. I mean, it could be some men where can create false tracks with some of the first men savages use to leave false tracks with strangely shaped boots or sticks or the like. Could be the case here, although I see little reason for such an event. If you are investigating the lady's murder, as young Christopher indicates, then I advise you to seek aid on that basis, says Sir Conrad, rather than any word of hunting giants, which few folk well, those who believe it are likely superstitious small folk who are likely to be more terrified than. But you have our thanks for the slaying of the bandits, and I commend you to my lord on that. Please, the gates of Hagspire are open to you.
Is Lord Malister home?
Yeah, well, Conrad laughs a little darkly at this. In a way, yes, but in a profound way, perhaps it's a resounding no. He resides here at Hagspire, but true home of Seaguard is denied to him by those pagan savages. But yes, you will find him in and I can offer you all refreshment there. And he gestures towards the abbey behind him. Still less than a mile distant, maybe half a mile.
Thank you, my good sir.
Indeed. Cool. So he leads the way. The men with him, or at least the three poorly dressed individuals, they wear long, ragged robes of poor brothers, members of the sort of militant peasant. And as you journey in, you approach the abbey. You see there are outlying buildings that you would expect in any Andal hamlet, a butcher's, bakers, etc. It's certainly not no town. It seems as though the Abbey of Hagspire has been built probably the most habitable land in the Mire. It's a large stone building, quite an impressive sight of local construction, made out of large stone blocks quarried quite a long way and shipped here. The site is revered by both the First Men and the Andals for different reasons. And I'll see if I've got a token for it. Nope, just the Mire. All right.
Sir Roland comments to the ladies. The place is a good spot for an abbey. The seven streams is a holy sign.
Lady Aaron nods thoughtfully at this and says, "Indeed, I hear, as I recall, an ancient witch of the First Man was disposed of here soon after the destruction of House Mud. Her magics had kept the noble knights and lords at bay and halted the spread of the faith for many years. But with the defeat of the old kings, she was cast down by those noble men."
Roland nods thoughtfully and then says, "Speaking of the old kings, how's it been traveling with him?" And he kind of gestures to Christopher.
Dina, Aaron, I'm going to get you to make an empathy check as a sort of a twitch of her nose, which she quickly hides before responding and says, "Look, young Christopher is he is. Oh no, I don't even know what to do with all that. Young, he is a young man full of fire and passion, and has done much to. Has clearly has seen it as his duty to keep us safe on the road, and has contributed well to that. Although I feel somewhat less secure for the lack of Lady Van. It is good to be a companion such men as Sir Jason and yourself. He is, but this young Christopher, he's an outspoken young man. Many fancies, perhaps a high opinion of himself. He seems a harmless enough fellow. She laughs lightly. Shallon, who's
the other gal.
Yeah, Shallon says, "Oh, he has seems to have a good talent for the handling and care of animals." Shallon says, which is I find to be an admirable quality for those who have the patience for it. Though he's a little rough around the edges, that is to be expected with the with his. She blushes a little and says, his breeding, she says. In truth, I believe we are something of second cousins or the like, though it's a little enough connection, and he is, of course, born on the wrong side of the sheets, she says. But yes, she indicates that she is something like a second cousin, perhaps, of young Christopher.
Lady of Mud.
Do you say that?
No, don't.
No.
I
mean, she is, she's a Templeton, which is a proud Andal house, but there is a vague hint of First Man ancestry about her. All right, as you approach, anything else?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Roland just adds something to the effect of like, yes, I know the type. I have a family full of sons.
Shalon laughs and says, "And are they all as brave and good natured as yourself?"
I gotta go do something for like 5 minutes.
All right, that's all right. We might have we'll finish this off and have a couple of minutes break perhaps, and then come back to the Abbey. And are they all as brave and handsome as yourself? Asks Shalon flatteringly. Ben, you there?
I heard something about flattery. That's all I heard.
Sorry. She says, "Are they all as brave and handsome as yourself?" She says flatteringly.
Roland gives a winning grin and says, twice as brave and 3 times as foolhardy.
Wait, so his brothers are braver than him?
Yes. I'm gonna talk up my brothers.
She laughs at it. Well, I can scarce believe it. But if such is true, then they must be the cream of the nightly crop in all the Riverlands. She says, as you ride in towards the Abbey. And I'm happy for us to take a couple minutes break just before we meet the characters of the Abbey, since we've already lost Brett, I think. So we'll just take a 2-minute break, or a 3-minute break, in fact. Does that sound all right?
Yeah.
Sure.
I'll be back in just a moment. If you've got any questions during that.
Okay.
All right. How are we doing?
Good.
Cool.
Doing.
All right. Let's. All right. So we've got Ben and Chewy. Do we have a Brett? Still on the roll 20. He's not online. Oh no, he is in. That's all right. We'll give him a couple of minutes. Cool.
Can I confirm one fact?
Now look, hit me. Absolutely.
The footprints of the presumably giant that I am tracking did not have boots, correct?
Definitely not.
All right, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad
Oh.
I'm not missing things
Mm.
or picking up on shit that doesn't exist.
No, that is a useful, relevant clue. Like, without giving you too much credit. And as you run, one thing I'll note is as you are riding towards the end, you hear Cerberus does mutter or speak quietly up to Sir Jason and says, I would have, your place was in your family lands, Sir Bracken, as I had heard they were much availed by pagan hands of late. And in truth, the rumor has reached you on Charlton lands that the House Bracken has recently suffered quite a devastating defeat from House Blackwood. And Sir Jason mutters darkly back to Sir Cerberus and says, my place, as ever, has been, as it has been for years, as my family has made clear. Because in truth, in many ways, the men of House Malster and those who serve them cut of a similar cloth to House Bracken, being devoted servants of the Seven. And as you ride towards the Abbey, you see many of the common buildings, in fact, are also appointed with the seven-pointed star, which is seen to ward off evil and to be a gesture of faith. And you see alongside the townsfolk, you see several groups amounting to several dozen men at least, wearing the plain grey and brown robes of fellows. Many of them carry oversized sort of peasants' tools or large axes, and most seem on the alert. As much as it's a small hamlet, Hagspire also seems to be sort of like a frothing war camp, really, at this point. And you see that there are not many Malster men wearing their garb, at least, but those few you do see are dressed for war. As you ride in as well.
What a coincidence! So am I.
Yeah. Poor. And so by that, not only are they carrying swords and wearing mail, swords or crossbows or the like, but also most carry shields and wear half helms, which is often seldom carried and worn for guard duty, as they do weigh you down. But let's see if we can just move this one. I think we've given Brett time. We can give him. Oh. And as you enter the stone gates of the Abbey, which there's a large atrium building. There are a number. You see several brothers dressed in simple brown or black hooded robes. You also see a few Malister men, though not many. The central so there is a large hall, and above which is a balcony of sorts, which is reached by a set of stairs. And I'll pull out some characters, but I do just want to. Do we have Brett back yet or not?
I don't think so, no.
Yeah, that's a shame. Been
I think he's off rigging elections.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a President Christopher of the Republic of the Riverlands. That's all right.
Yeah, but he'll be a Russian puppet for sure.
How is that all going? Dare I ask how that's going at the moment? Seems to be hitting yet another level of hysteria.
What?
Or your American politics seems to be hitting yet another level of hysteria.
Oh man, it's always in a level of hysteria. The whole government shutdown thing is just fucking hilarious. Everyone's like, oh, it's the worst thing that's ever happened, and it's not affecting anyone except for like 0.3% of the population or something.
Oh look, I mean, I have a particular view on. I've just got a couple of friends, I think, who were in Washington D.C. the other day, and they were able to do a Segway tour, but all of the public buildings, which is one of the reasons, the key reason you go to Washington D.C., were all closed, which was a bit of a shame. But I mean, that's only a blip on the political radar in terms of politics. What's the word?
Yep.
Yeah. All right, so there are a few figures who I'll give you a chance to have a quick look over while we.
Guys, I have to go to.
While I try to give Brett a minute or two. These are a number of august individuals who have clearly made themselves ready at a moment's notice, because there are still a few august names amongst your personage, which does draw their attention. One thing I will say though is if we.
I'm gonna have to get out, guys, because I've been up for the past 2 days and I haven't slept in 24 hours. So yeah, I'm gonna go to bed now. Sorry.
Okay, we'll have I'll be in chat during the week, because if you're gonna fall out during the session, I'd like to know about that ahead of time. But if you gotta go, you gotta go.
I could stay, but
I'm not gonna hold you against your will, Brett. But sessions will usually run between 4 and 5 hours, and I would like you to be able to commit to that if you, outside of extenuating circumstances.
Okay.
But if you gotta go, you gotta go. Which means I might even cut the session short if that's gonna happen, which is a shame. Just because we now have less than half the group.
Nah, Jack and I got this. Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.